Hey everybody, here with our Green Goblin review. So here's what you get in the pack. You've got your Green Goblin figure, of course. You got Peter Parker here all tied up with this little rope that's attached to him. We've got the Goblin purse, I guess. One of Goblin's pumpkin bombs. The glider. And the stand the glider will go on. So, before we set it up, I just want to show you this action figure itself is actually based off of the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 39. As you can see there, obviously, recreation of that. Before we set up, I'm just going to do a little side-by-side comparison here. So first off, we got the Goblin himself. That's darn near perfect, pretty much coloring everything exactly the same. What they added to this was they gave him, I don't know how well you can see it, but some crazy yellow eyes, which are, of course, his ones in the comic are just that. So I like that detail, very nice. They also gave him a little kind of dirtier, grittier teeth. Actually, he must have a really good dentist in the comics because those are perfect teeth in there. But let's see what else we got here. We got the Parker. Okay, looks about right, tied up. They got the damage right tears and everything. But the only thing they didn't add was, in the comic he's got like little parts of his pants still left by his legs, and this one they just, I don't know, it's just his spider socks, I guess, unless it's, no, it's not supposed to be his pants. That's right. Glider itself, pretty much the same design. Obviously this one here they just went for all black as opposed to the kind of off gray, but otherwise the design's the same, except for the footholds. You'll notice on the comic they're, you know, right down there at the tips of the wings. In this one they're up a little bit, and that's only so that they can support the figure a little bit more. But we'll set him up now and we'll see what he looks like. There he is. And if you're wondering why I'm not hanging Peter off of something, it is doable, but it requires it to be in such a specific location. He's got to be hanging off the back, and any slight nudge, and both Goblin and Parker are going on a tailspin down to the ground. So that's why I'm displaying it this way. It still looks pretty cool. As you can see, the pumpkin fits in his hand there. And usually when I see things like this, where it's just a kind of a round object you shove into the character's hand, I kind of roll my eyes because it never seems to work. But this one is pretty gall darn solid. It stays in there. Of course, we got the purse hanging off there. We got the glider going on. So even with it not hanging, it's still pretty cool. This rope is not, you know, stiff or anything. It's actually fairly flexible. So I guess you could try to tie it in a knot, but still, he's just a little too weighty to be hanging off of it, despite how cool it would look. I'm sure there's a workaround for that, and some of you clever people will figure it out. But also, if you just want a figure to pose, like a Green Goblin figure, just be standing around, don't take this one. His legs do not go into a standing position. If you try to set this guy up alone when he's not in his glider, you're going to have Green Goblin taking a dump in the woods. I mean, if you like that, who am I to judge? And Parker here is actually not mobile at all. He is just a solid, singular prop, I guess you'd call him. But otherwise, I think this, of the three I've bought so far, this one might be my favorite. It's a really cool concept. It, you know, it looks way different than most of the other things on my shelf. And it's nice to have a figure that's not just, you know, guy with a bunch of guns or guy standing in front of something. This one has a lot of movement going on with him. He looks like he's actually in the middle of an action. So I think of the three so far, this has been my favorite. But that might change when I do my next review on Juggernaut. I'll see you then.